Before we get into Dr. Richey, let me just say, if the allegations about him and degrees are true, it's not only embarrassing, it's harmful. Because it doesn't just damage his reputation. And yeah, I'm going to address Dr. Richey in this video. I'm gonna run that evidence. I ain't hiding from that. But if all I do is drag one man for clicks and views, what does that say about me? And I respect my audience enough not to do that. As we look at the allegations of Dr. Richey, you know, for instance, from Nate the lawyer.
All right, this is Dr. Rashad Richey. He's claimed to be a physicist, quantum physicist at that, a neurophysicist, a neuroscientist, a cognitive psychologist, a doctor of law, a lawyer, and more. Now, even though Dr. Richey lives in the United States, most of these degrees come from overseas, places like France, Haiti, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, Singapore, Mexico, Cambodia.
And that great filmmaker, Cam James.
In the first part of this series, I guess, I talked about the many, many fake degrees of Rashad Richey, a political media figure who's been prominent in the YouTube and larger Black political landscape for years. This time, I'm talking about Rashad Richey, JD, PhD, EDD, MBA, and LLM. Progressive YouTube commentator working with the Young Turks via his show Indisputable. As of when I'm publishing this, considering he invents a new degree every couple of years, Richey claims he's earned 5 doctorates and 5 master's degrees in 10 areas of study. I'm concerned. I could end the video there, but
it's not taking a rocket scientist to figure out. Drop the doc from Doc, just call him Richey, and instead of calling him Rashad, call him Rafraud. Allegedly. I've been fortunate enough to sit across some scholars who came on this channel, not to cosplay, but to give out information that helps the people. Scholars like Dr. Musa Abdullah. Now, Dr. Musa Abdullah is an educator, and he educates on my show every second Thursday. We do a show called Beyond the Talking Points. Here he is dropping bombs.
Right.
Just because you did it and everybody around you did it, don't make it right. But it is normal because it's all you know. It's normal to you. And Gen X, we literally did everything wrong, but a lot of us escaped unscathed. So we think that it was right. No, it was just normal for us. And that was one of the things. The baby boomers, I'm hard on them because they were selfish. They put us out. They forced us to be adults at the ages of 14, 15. They were like, oh, you're in your double digits now. You can come home by yourself and cook for yourself and clean. And brother, that's why we got that bad. And we don't understand these generations we have now because they are actual children.
Yep.
And we don't understand. We're like, you are just so immature. Yeah, he's 13. He's supposed to be immature. What do you expect from him? You know? So yeah, that's what I believe.
And then there's Dr. Darrick Hamilton, who drops an anvil on the system as he discloses how Black strivers pay a price, a heavy price, trying to get those degrees and what it can mean for their life span.
I was watching your TED Talk. You were saying how it's not a panacea. Black kids that go to college don't always do better than white counterparts who drop out of high school. Could you expand on that part?
You know, I think education has become a political ruse. I think notions around equal opportunity and framing inequality as an opportunity gap, that's rhetoric that distracts us from the resources themselves that lead to disparity. 2 things. One is we exaggerate it as an input and its capacity to address racial inequality in particular. So there's no question that a Black person with more education tends to have more income, more wealth, better health outcomes than a Black person with less education. But if we look at education across race, not only do we find that disparity persists with education, it oftentimes gets worse. So a mortality statistic, we know that between the ages of 25 and 64, Black people have a 50% higher mortality rate than white people. If we look at Blacks and whites with a college degree, that statistic goes to 70%. So a Black person with a college degree has a 70% higher mortality rate than a white person with a college degree. And you might ask why. One of the things I argue is that it is the stress, the stigma of trying to work so hard to overcome the everyday burdens that actually might manifest in some of these health disparities. So when somebody tells you to work twice as hard to get by, one question we rarely ask is, at what cost?
Then there's Dr. Cornel West. Dr. Cornel's been here talking about the Democratic Party. He doesn't mince words as he cuts into the root of the problem. Like, I know some people want that. They want to see brothers going at each other. They want me to, you know what I'm saying? And I don't want to give them what they want just to give them what they want. Like, any criticism, any questions I have, brother, they're not rooted in that antagonism shit.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I understand that.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
So
exactly right. That's exactly. But I mean, if we at the barbershop, in the pool hall, and standing in front of the church or the mosque, we got disagreements, and we understand how we deal with our antagonisms and things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But at the same time, we know that we got a love for Black people that is unconditional, unapologetic. It's an unstoppable predilection to make sure that their futures are better. And it doesn't stop there, but it starts there and it lingers. And that's what it is to get off the plantation. But it is too, we got a professional class that's just on the gravy train, as I said. They're looking for jobs, they're looking for status. And I understand, jobs and status, everybody got to get a job to feed their family and so forth. But if there's no integrity, no honesty. Now, I do believe there are some Black folk who support Harris, who are very honest and have integrity. They just disagree with you and I. There are some folk like that. And I zero in on that. But fewer and fewer. Because the lies, see, once you start lying, it becomes habituated.
And then there's Dr. Reverend Robert Turner, who came on my channel when he talked about the facts about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre. It was hard to hear, but we need to hear it.
I hear tell of how many blocks of businesses were bombed in Tulsa. Could you go into a little bit more detail? I want people to feel what happened in Tulsa.
Yeah.
I want them to walk away from this conversation knowing exactly what that was. Please, Reverend.
Yeah, so if I may, and thank you for that question. A lot of people that you probably talked to or heard from, they started everything in 1921 because that's when the massacre happened. But what you have to do is you have to go back 2 years prior, 1919, and in fact, go back even further back than that to 1914, when the movie Birth of a Nation came out. A lot of folks don't know. I'm not talking about the recent Birth of a Nation about Nat Turner. The original Birth of a Nation was about a supposed Black man, which was actually a white man in blackface, because they didn't want to hire Black actors back then. And they depicted Black men as very lazy, lethargic, aggressive, violent, just eating watermelons and fried chicken and exaggerated nose shape, and desiring to have white women, right? And so this one Black man, which is a white man in blackface, is seeking to assault a white woman, damsel in distress. She, because she didn't want to be deflowered by this beast of a man, jumps off of a cliff, commits suicide. The Klan arises to defend and protect her honor and to weed out this brute of an angry Black violent man. The Klan is applauded in this movie. Birth of a Nation was played in the White House, given an award by the president, Woodrow Wilson. It was highly heralded as one of the best films of all time, right? And it created a perception of Black men, of which we were supposedly lazy, trifling, aggressive, and only want to put our hands on some white woman, right? And that narrative stuck. That America's perception of Black people really hasn't shifted much from the original Birth of a Nation. So you go from 1914, Birth of a Nation, 1919, World War I ends. Black men who fought, come back. Black men who fought valiantly, come back to America. And They were leaders in France. They ate at lunch counters with white folk in Germany. So they come back to America, and they're not looking down when they see white folks. They're not getting off the sidewalk when they pass by a white man, which was the cultural norms at that time. If you were walking on the sidewalk and a white person walking on the sidewalk, a black person is supposed to get off the sidewalk and let the white person walk by. Black men in 1921, veterans from the World War, go to the courthouse to help law enforcement protect the life of a black man. Black men were back in the blue in 1921, right? But what did the blue say to the black man? The sheriff tell the black man, go home. I don't need your help. We good. And the black man like, you sure? Because we see hundreds of white men, thousands of white men out here about to bum rush you, because in 1921, they felt, and some do today, that justice is too good for black people to have. When they got access to airplanes that were owned by corporations and other folks, and they used airplanes to drop bombs or incendiary devices on Greenwood, which was the first time, I must say, in American history that airplanes were used to terrorize Americans. The planes were not flown by Al-Qaeda. They weren't flown by the Japanese. That was Pearl Harbor. Al-Qaeda was 9/11. The planes were flown by good old boys.
Al
white
Cracker.
Men. And the first victims of aerial terrorism in this country were black folk. You may never learn that in history class. And so when they got the airplanes, yes, you stated, and the houses that didn't get bombed by the airplanes, they would go into the houses at gunpoint, tell everybody to get out the house. Sometimes they would shoot into the house and say, hurry up and get out. Sometimes they would go into the house and bring them out. Sometimes if they didn't come out quick enough, they shot in there. Sometimes if they came out when they were supposed to come out, they still shot the people and then got everything out their house. They would drive pickup trucks up to the houses and ransack everything inside the house. And it was so bad, brother, that a lot of the folks, a lot of the women who were helpful white families said they saw their husbands' cufflinks and monogram shirts in the houses of white people, mink coats being worn by white women. And sometimes the white folk were so devious, they tried to sell back the property that they stole from black people to black people. And then they will usher the black folk out their house, have them march with their hands up to go to concentration camps. And if they didn't go fast enough, they would shoot at them. Sometimes they still went fast, they would still shoot. There was this one story about a sister who stomach was cut open because she was pregnant. And they cut her stomach open and took the baby out of her stomach and threw the baby to the ground, smashed baby's head in.
I want to stop right there. Oh, wow.
And also there was the great Dr. William Darity. And then there was the great Dr. Sandy Darity. Oh, his brother came in and he talked about wealth and why black Americans have so little of it.
A prominent hip-hop producer who has a big website called DJ Vlad. And recently there's been a conversation about, black, since the reparations argument doesn't seem to be going over too well with white folks, that they could somehow placate black folks by giving them free college tuition. What would your response be to that suggestion?
Well, I'm in favor of free college tuition. I'm in favor of free college tuition for everybody, particularly from public universities. I don't know about private universities, but public universities definitely. And I would try to make some sort of accommodation for historically black colleges and universities, regardless of whether they were public or private, in terms of the tuition reduction. So I think that's a great idea. I don't think that will eliminate the racial wealth gap. And that's my concern. So I don't view reparations as an alternative or a substitute for other types of universal policies that would benefit all Americans. I view reparations as a complement to those programs, a complement that would be specifically designed to address the racial wealth gap, which I think these other kinds of policies really cannot do successfully. So, if you think about it, additional education in and of itself will not eliminate the racial wealth gap. One of the most disturbing statistics that's emerged from the research that we've been doing is the finding that Blacks who have a college degree have 2/3 of the net worth of whites who never finished high school. And so the depth and severity of the racial wealth gap is so deep that we don't have a situation in which the standard ways in which people think Blacks should improve their behavior will do much to close the racial wealth gap. Because when Black folks do the right thing, the racial wealth gap persists.
Rashad Richey, what he did, if he did it, it's a horrific thing, my brother. It's horrific that TYT allowed you to sit on their platform and not have those credentials. Put them out into the world and to be lying the whole time. It not only tarnishes Dr. Richey, it tarnishes anybody that came on his show, that sat with him, who respected him, who put trust in him. I'm not here to psychoanalyze Richey, but I am here to say that the Young Turks got some explaining to do, as does Richey. See, the Black community doesn't need this. We don't need to be ripped apart as people try to give allegiance to Richey because they feel like, here we go, tearing down another brother. But see, I flip it. I look at it the other way. When you put yourself before the people, and that's what Richey did if Richey's lying, if he got bogus degrees, then he's the one tearing down the community. And that's bigger than any one individual. In 1 year alone, he said he had 5 degrees. He earned 5 degrees on 3 different continents in 5 different countries. I mean, who does that? How is that even possible? Is this even a conversation? Is this even a debate? In fact, as I look back over it, we see people that are debating it in comment sections. I'm like, dog, stop chasing the ghost. Guys obviously not telling the truth about a lot of shit. And then we get to a bigger problem, and it's something that only dawned on me while recording this. Rashad, you know, if you were so arrogant as to lie to the world about all these degrees, make up schools and make up your own fact-checking organization that verified and validated your schools. But if you're willing to do that, I mean, who knows what else you made up? Who knows what else you put color to? You added some boosters to. I mean, a person that has the audacity to lie to the world, put it out everywhere, and just live this fake life. Dog, who knows what you lied about? And see, that's the bigger issue, bruh. It's not just a piece of paper. It's not just them white folks over there. You've been lying to all of Atlanta? Forget YouTube. Man, look, I hope that the allegations of you lying about these degrees are proven to be false. I'm hoping that I have to come out here and make a retraction video and say, hey, I was wrong. Nate the lawyer was wrong. Cam James was wrong. My eyes was wrong. I actually want that for you, Richey. I do. I don't know you, you don't know me. But I want that for you. You're one of the rare situations, this is one of the rare opportunities or conditions, man, where I hope that I'm wrong. Because I got nothing to gain from you being right. Or I have nothing to gain from you being a fraud. Like Jay-Z said, what you eat don't make me shit. It ain't about tearing you down. And hell, people already watched the video, so I made a couple dollars, who cares? This is so much bigger than who watched the video. So yeah, bruh, I hope that I'm wrong on this one. The sad thing about it is, I think I'm right. I can't think of a reason why this would be worth it for Richey. I also can't think of a reason why Nate, the lawyer, would put his law degree in jeopardy, or why Cam James would win a lawsuit. Why would he make allegations in a 3-part series where he was willing to be sued for? And also that younger gentleman, that other brother and also that white guy that did a lot of research for a number of years on you, Richie. Look, folks, to the 10 Black Wolfpack community, we'll see what happens. I'm not the judge and juror, but put in the comment section what you think about this segment and what you think about Richey. Do you believe that Richey has actually earned 15 degrees? Earned them? He might have them. They may be as worthless as this piece of printer paper I have here. But he could own them. He could own them. Doesn't mean he earned them. Doesn't mean they mean anything. Or do you think it's more likely that it's all bogus? Let me know what you think. Do you think he earned them? If you think so, give me a 1. If you think he didn't, put up a 0 in the comments section. Either way, my name is Tim Black, and this is the most dangerous show in America. Because we speak the truth. Stay dangerous.